Hi, I'm Echo. I live in a tiny home next to a swamp with my mom, my dad, and my 4 siblings. My mom always tells the story of how our life could have been way different. She used to be a chemist working at a multi-million-dollar cosmetic company, and one day she developed a serum to reverse aging. Unfortunately, her boss found out and stole the formula from her. Mom was fired, and both her and Dad's life was made harder by the fact that Mom's old boss blocked them from getting any jobs. Ever since that happened, we lost our home and had to move where we live now. It's cramped, but at the very least, my siblings and I never lacked in Mom and Dad's love. I went to high school during the day, and by night I would help Dad at his job fixing cars. One evening, my dad received a call out, and he was busy fixing his boss's car.
You gotta do this one without me, kiddo.
What? What if I don't know what to do?
You're ready. Besides, we can't turn this one away. Looks like the address is at the fancy part of town.
I took off on Dad's motorcycle and went up to the house. All the lights were off except in the garage, where the door was wide open. I got off the bike and rang the doorbell. Hello? Evergarden Auto sent me over. Hello? I looked behind me to find that the garage door had shut, and suddenly the lights went out. I heard scuffling around me, and then a pair of hands grabbed my arm. I tried to get away, but they were too strong. Before long, I was tied down to a chair, still unable to make out the shadows that were moving around me in the dark. And then a voice came from behind me. Lights? I had to blink a few times at how blinding the overhead lights were, but it looked as if I wasn't even in the same place anymore. Only moments ago, the room looked like any old garage. Now there was an arch made of flowers, streamers, and garlands and bouquets. And most importantly, there was a priest standing behind an altar and a woman who looked like she could be my mother, dressed all in white and standing next to me. No, this isn't the right one. I needed the father, not the son. Ugh, oh well, he'll do. I couldn't even begin to ask what was happening. Before I could protest, the tall, gorgeous Asian woman had my hands in hers and she was saying her vows.
Son, it's your turn.
The lady stepped on my toes and mouthed the words she wanted me to say. What is even happening right now? Oh dear, are you blind or dumb? You're obviously getting married to me. Now, say I do, or you're never getting out of here. The gorgeous maids that surrounded me put their hands on the locks and clicked them into place menacingly. I had no other choice. No matter how bizarre it all was, I had to do what Mrs. Han wanted.
As I was saying, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, till the end of your lives?
I do. He does, Father. Now, can we move this along?
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Perfect. Girls, take Father to the back room and give him his money. Then the lady disappeared behind a secret door, and once again, I was left alone in the garage. And then the room filled with a gas that made me sleepy. When I woke up, I was in my bed, in my bedroom at my house beside a swamp. Had it all been a weird dream? But my mind was instantly distracted the moment I got back to school. Everyone was huddled around somebody, and when I sat down at my desk, whoever it was turned around to face me as she flipped her hair. I saw the most beautiful girl in the world. She had long, dark hair and skin that was so delicate and fair. It looked like she was made from porcelain. Hi, I'm Sayan. Everyone gasped. I took her hand and shook it, and then I found out why everyone was so shocked. Apparently, Sayan was the new girl in school. She'd just transferred all the way from Korea, and since that morning, she'd snubbed everyone who tried to talk to her, until I came in. Yuck, she must have awful taste if she's willing to talk to that sewer rat instead of us. Right? She's gonna catch some sort of swamp disease.
Hey, maybe it's just 'cause she's foreign. She doesn't know you're not supposed to talk to losers like him.
They were really laying it on thick, but the last thing I would have expected to happen was for Sayan to stand up and smack all three of them across the face in one hit. How dare you talk to him that way? If any one of you so much as utter one single bad word about my Echo, I will make sure you will never step out of your house again. Nobody had ever stood up for me before, and now here she was, the prettiest girl out there, defending me. And she proved it, too. She would catch anyone speaking badly of me, and the next morning, their reputation would be destroyed. Their deepest, darkest secrets would be leaked, causing them to drop out of school and move out of town. I had no idea Sayan would be the strongest ally I could ever ask for. But it came with a downside, too. She became super possessive of me. Even if a girl so much as looked at me for longer than 2 seconds, she would lose it and insult that girl until she cried. Even the teachers were not safe from Sayan. But when it was just the two of us, she was an entirely different person. She would turn into this delicate flower. She wouldn't even raise her voice no matter what. In the morning, she would pick me up from my house and she would hand me a handmade packed lunch just for me. Sayan was my first kiss. I took her to the lake we used to go to when we were kids. We stayed until sunset, and when I was about to get up to tell her we should be getting back, she grabbed my arm, pulled me down, and kissed me. It was magical. It felt like fireworks were lighting up the sky when there was nothing but me, her, the placid lake, and the fireflies. She vented to me often, too. She told me she had nobody else to talk to. Her mom was always busy with the family business. What does your mom do anyway? She runs a beauty company, inherited it from my grandfather. She almost lost it to my uncle. Grandpa wanted a man to inherit everything, but Mom was conniving. She arranged for my uncle to get into a scandal with his secretary, and then Mom stole a revolutionary formula from one of her employees. It sold for millions, and that guaranteed her being the only heir. I got chills. That story sounded way too familiar. I was almost certain Sayan's mom was the same person my mom had told me about countless times. And so when Sayan brought me to meet her, I was shaking with anger. But when she came down from the stairs to welcome me, I froze. Echo, this is my mom, Han Ji-woo. I never noticed that the house was the very same one. It was dark that night, but to see the very same woman I thought was just in my dreams, I began to stutter. Hi, Mrs. Han. Nice to meet you. Oh, please, don't be so formal. We're married now, after all. Just silence. Absolute silence washed over everyone. So I wasn't dreaming after all. Sayan was furious. Seriously? Again, Mom? Why do you keep stealing the boys I want? And you? How dare you not tell me of any of this? Sayan ran, and I nearly fell over from the cramps of trying to keep up. She slapped me 3 times, but I didn't let her go. I was in love with her, and I wanted to explain. I told her what happened, and she told me that her mom was always jealous of her youth, and that she'd always stolen every guy she liked. I finally told her what I knew. I think maybe your mom may be the same one that stole my mom's formula. Sayan's eyes lit up. Suddenly, she had a way to get back at her mom. She helped me sneak into her mom's office, and there I confirmed my suspicions. In one of the framed photographs on her desk was my mom. They were celebrating her discovery. I took Mrs. Han's journal, and Sayan gave me all the account numbers I needed. We went into every single bank she did business with, and I withdrew every cent. I was still her husband, after all. And then Sayan photocopied the pages in her journal where she talked about stealing my mom's formulation, and we sent it to every board member. She delivered the original to her grandpa herself. The next morning, her mom was fired. You can't do this to me. You're nothing but a sewer rat. If I go down, you go down too. You're legally married to me. Am I? The moment she saw the divorce papers, her face fell. Sa-yeon gave her a potion the night before, and she got her to sign the papers. In one fell swoop, Mrs. Han became penniless and powerless. It turned out she wanted to trap my dad into marrying her, not me. She and my mom had a rivalry ever since high school, and when Dad married my mom, she vowed to ruin her life. But now Sa-yeon was appointed as the company's CEO, and I became a right-hand man. We gave my mom her job back, and my family regained everything we lost. Now, I held all of Jiwoo's fortune. Sa-yeon and I had a wedding so lavish, we were featured in the news. The funniest thing is, everyone who used to ignore me tried to sneak into our celebrity-filled ceremony. I promptly had them thrown into a dungeon in the venue, where they could only watch my success from afar. And Jiwoo, she could only watch from the gates, dressed in ragged clothes. "You can't do this to me!" But I can. You do nothing but steal. You stole love from your own daughter, and you stole the life my family deserved. Now, I think it's your turn to live next to a swamp.